You know, when we think of epic stories, we usually picture a big call to action, right? A show of incredible strength. But what if I told you one of the world's most profound spiritual texts begins not with a bang, but with a total breakdown? That's what we're diving into today, a single, powerful verse that sets the stage for the entire Bhagavad Gita, all focused on the moment a celebrated hero completely and utterly falls apart.
So just think about that for a second. What really happens when the person we expect to be the strongest, the most determined, just gives up? That question right there, that's the central crisis we're looking at. And believe me, it's the emotional launchpad for everything that comes next.
Okay, so before we can get into any of the deep wisdom, we have to understand the setting. And it's probably not what you're picturing. The stage is a battlefield, for sure. But the real conflict, that has nothing to do with swords and arrows. It's a battle against profound despair.
And bam, the very first line of this chapter just hits you. It tells us, the atmosphere is filled with Arjuna's despair. Forget the sound of war horns or the clash of steel. The first thing we are made to feel is this heavy, suffocating weight of one man's sorrow. This single line sets a deeply human and, frankly, somber tone for everything that's about to unfold. So let's really dig into this feeling, you know? We're going to break down this moment of crisis and take a look at the anatomy of this great warrior's sorrow, piece by painful piece. The text gives us this powerful look from Krishna's point of view. It says he sees Arjuna filled with three very distinct things: pity, tears, and anxiety. See, this isn't just sadness. It's a whole complex storm of emotion. Pity for the very family he's supposed to fight, tears of just overwhelming grief, and this crushing anxiety about what's going to happen. This is not a warrior having second thoughts. This is a complete emotional collapse.
And this feeling is just inescapable. The text says he is literally surrounded by sorrow. Can you imagine that? It's as if the external battlefield, with his own cousins and teachers on the other side, has just dissolved and reformed into an internal prison of grief. It is the very air he breathes.
And then, the final blow, his hope is lost. For a warrior, hope is the ultimate weapon, right? Without it, a sword is just a heavy piece of metal, and an entire army is just a crowd of people. By losing his hope, Arjuna has been completely disarmed, not by an enemy soldier, but by his own despair.
And this loss of hope leads directly to the most catastrophic consequence of all. It's not just his mood that's taken a hit, his very spirit, the defining characteristic that makes him a warrior in the first place, has been shattered.
And here's where you see the huge paradox of this moment. A battlefield should be a place of war, a scene of conflict. But for Arjuna, it is totally transformed. It's become an environment of sadness, his own personal arena of grief. The war happening on the outside has been completely eclipsed by the one raging inside of him.
This is a total system failure. Physically, his eyes are filled with tears. Mentally, his mind is consumed by despair. And spiritually, his courage, the very essence of who he is, has been shattered. He's been broken on every single level.
But it is precisely from this point, from absolute rock bottom, that everything changes. This moment of total crisis isn't the end of the story, it's the catalyst. It's what makes a divine response not just possible, but absolutely necessary. This is the turning point.
Which leaves us with a critical question, doesn't it? When a hero's courage shatters, what comes next? What could you possibly say or do to bring someone back from that kind of utter despair?
And the text leaves us with this final, powerful image. Upon seeing Arjuna's sorrow, Shri Krishna prepares to respond. That impending response, born from this singular moment of weakness, is the Bhagavad Gita. It kind of suggests that maybe the greatest wisdom doesn't begin with strength, but with the courage to admit we are completely broken. That maybe our own moments of breakdown aren't just endings, but the necessary first step for profound change.